Good evening, everybody. Welcome once again to our Thursday evening training. My name is Betty Olo, in case you're joining us for the first time or the first few times. I'm a long-time Neolife distributor and a World Team member, and always very glad to be able to spend this time of training with you on Thursday evenings. So wherever you are, whether you are here on our continent of Africa or further afield, I want to welcome you to spend the next 1 hour with us, in which half of the time I'll talk about how to position our products for various needs that we may come across. And in the second half, Pascal will take you through the business section of our session. So as you might have seen in today's invite, my session is going to be about respiratory health. So this is the health of our breathing system. And as with all the topics that we choose, we always expect that we'll do our best to make sure that you get value from spending this time with us. So I'm sure I need not say that our respiratory system from our biology, high school biology, maybe is the system which is in charge of our gaseous exchange. And it deals with the inhalation of air from which we get oxygen and exhalation of air which contains carbon dioxide, which is the byproduct of our cellular activities. So the main organs that are involved, as you will remember, the lungs are very important here, the major organs for respiration, but the lungs work hand in hand with the windpipe, which is our major air passage just beyond our mouth, and then also other air passages further into our chest, as well as the intercostal muscles. These are the muscles that are found along our ribs, which help us in exhaling and inhaling. And also the diaphragm, which is a sheet of muscle that is found at the base of our thoracic cavity, just above our gut or abdomen. So those being the organs that are involved, we also know that the blood circulatory system participates in our respiration because the gases we take in and those we exhale out are all carried in the blood in solution. So the oxygen that we breathe, once we breathe it in, it's going to be absorbed into our blood in the lungs, and then it will be carried to the various parts of the bodies. And from there, the unwanted carbon dioxide will also get into the blood circulatory system, which will then carry it to the lungs where it's going to be exhaled. So our blood circulatory system is also intimately involved in our respiratory system because it is the means of transporting when the gases are within our bodies. So let me go on to say, after that introduction, that optimum respiration requires a number of things. The first of which I wanted to mention is good quality air. And of course, we may take this for granted, but there are several reasons why this might be a problem. The first one I'd like to mention is air pollution, which will come from a variety of sources. It can be from smoke. Smoke can be maybe if we are smokers ourselves, but more importantly, air pollution with smoke will come from factories. It will come from vehicle emissions, and it can also come from dust and other sources. So, and then another would be poor ventilation in our home or work premises. So sometimes as a result of the climate or maybe as a result of security issues, we may find that the ventilation is poor in our homes or in our work premises because there may be a concern that very wide open windows and areas where there is good circulation of air may be more vulnerable to crime. Or it could be that in our own homes, we may live in an area where we are concerned about security and therefore we feel reluctant, especially at night, to leave windows open and so on. So it's good to understand the importance of good ventilation, whether in the work premises or in our homes, and to do what we can in order to ensure that we have good ventilation, even if it means that we only open up during certain periods of the day and close the windows at other times. Then another source of problems would be pollen and mold spores that can cause allergies and inflammation. So this can be problematic again when there is poor hygiene or poor ventilation, because such things as fungal spores will tend to be common in areas where it is maybe damp and warm, and the air circulation is not so good. And things like pollen, of course, are seasonal and may be in large amounts during certain times of the year. So, for example, here in Pretoria, this time of the year, we have got a lot of pollen in the air because there are lots of plants flowering during the spring season. So if a person has got allergies and problems to do with the air passages, it may be important to think about what to do against things like pollen or fungal spores. And then, of course, another source of problems with the air quality will be certain home care and personal grooming products can exude harmful perfumes or even fumes and residues. So you can imagine that sometimes you buy some of these products and they are heavily scented with perfumes that are actually problematic for our health. And for that reason, it's one more reason why we should recommend the use of our New Life home care range, which does not have these problems. For myself, I do have a certain sensitivity to certain cleaning products like washing powders and fabric conditioner. And even in the supermarket, I avoid passing where they have these products because they usually are very heavily scented and can immediately cause a reaction. So again, that is why I will emphasize that using our home care and our personal grooming range, as well as our nutrients organic, is a good choice to avoid some of these sources of inflammation and allergies and so on. So turning my attention from good quality air, of course, because air is a raw material we take in our respiratory system, it is the first point I wanted to tackle so that we are aware that we should be concerned about the quality of air. And remember, we spoke about detoxing our home a week or two ago. So that plays in with this, trying to ensure that our home, the toxic load on our home is kept as low as can be managed. Then next, let's turn our attention to certain other issues to do with our respiration, and this is the way we breathe, the way we actually breathe in and out. The first and important thing here is that we should breathe through our noses, and this sounds a bit obvious, but the fact is that quite a significant number of people do breathe through their mouth. And this is common and can start right from childhood if a person has got allergies or other issues that may cause nose blockage of the nose or the sinuses, making it difficult to breathe through the nose. Then we can acquire the habit of breathing through the mouth, which is actually problematic, but I'll touch on that later. Just to be aware that we should do our best to cultivate that habit of breathing through our nose, because our noses are well adapted to filtering impurities out of the air we are breathing in, and also enhancing the volume of air that we breathe in. So the nose is especially suited for this, whereas the mouth is not, which means if we are breathing through our mouth, we are going to take in more impurities and problematic stuff than if we are breathing through our nose. So if we're in the habit of breathing through the mouth, or if we have children who have this habit, it is important to encourage them to get out of that habit if possible. But as I've said, that the habit often develops automatically. We try to breathe through our noses right from childhood. But if there are problems to do with the air passages or allergies and so on, then that habit can creep in. And that is one more reason to make sure that we take care of our respiratory health and that of our children, so we don't end up with this issue of mouth breathing. So in order to improve our breathing, we need to breathe out completely. Often we breathe too shallowly. We don't breathe in deeply enough or breathe out completely. We take in a little breath and we also take out little breath. So to actively try to breathe out completely, to exhale fully, and then also to inhale fully. We should, when inhaling, we should breathe in deeply and slowly. And if we are still trying to cultivate this habit, we can even count for us, maybe a count of 3 or so, breathing in and then again breathing out, so that we see how to develop that habit, so that we get in the habit of breathing in deeply and breathing out completely. Another thing that can bring problems to do with our breathing is our posture. So, for example, now I'm sitting in front of a screen, and what tends to happen is that we slouch over the screen. Maybe sometimes it's that I'm watching TV, and what I might do is slouch in a seat. And what happens when we do this is that we compress our thoracic cavity, that is the chest area, which means that then we are not able to give our lung full capacity in breathing in or breathing out. So good posture is important, and avoiding slumping. This is not only important for our breathing, but it is also important for our skeletal health, particularly of our back and shoulders and necks. Because if you're in the habit of slouching, we can have issues not only to do with the shallow breathing, but also to do with back problems. A lot of lower back pain originates actually from slouching and keeping poor body posture. So after posture, we'll also recommend drinking enough water daily. Remember that all these systems that we talk about, the things that happen in them happen in solution, of which water is the most important solvent. Even something like our blood is mainly water, and the gases which we exchange during respiration all are carried in or carried out in solution. So drinking adequate amounts of clean water is important. And then also aerobic exercises a few times a week for about 20 minutes or so should help to challenge our hearts and our lungs, and thus improve their function. So by challenging ourselves by walking briskly, so that we increase the rate of breathing and our heartbeat, will challenge those muscles and organs to function more efficiently. Then the last thing I want to say about breathing is to resolve stress and stressors. Because one of the things that happens when we are under stress, imagine maybe you have gotten some bad news or something has frightened you. The thing that tends to happen is to make our breathing becomes shallow. So we breathe in little and we breathe out little. And so for that reason, to resolve stressors, we often speak about managing stress, but I think, in my opinion, the best thing is to try to resolve those stresses, because, of course, as we are all aware, we cannot get rid of all the stresses of our life, but we can deal with them in such a way that either they become less stressful and we can accept them as the challenges of our lives, or we can eliminate them where possible. So another source of inefficient breathing will be stressors and unresolved stress. So to do what we can to resolve stressors. If, let's say, we are having a difficult time, we can be more deliberate during stressful periods, to be more deliberate in how we breathe. That is a time to consciously practice deep breathing, and this can even help us to be less stressed, because it forces us to slow down and maybe also to get a handle on our emotions. Then I mentioned that habitual breathing through the mouth impedes healthy breathing, and this is because habitual breathing through the mouth will be the result of maybe blocked noses, Blocked nose can be due to illness. Let's say you have flu or you have got a cold, or it can be due to allergens, which would be causing allergies and inflammation. This can also affect the sinuses, which play an important role. The sinuses are just found just around our nose, within the cheekbones, where they also participate in our respiration. Another thing that can lead to breathing through the mouth will be dental issues. If maybe we have got some tooth problems, either the way our teeth are arranged in our mouth, or if we have dentures that don't fit properly, this can lead to us not being comfortable closing our mouths and breathing through our nose. Swollen tonsils or adenoids are another cause for mouth breathing. And also, if we've got abnormalities in our nasal passages, then it can impede our ability to comfortably breathe through our nose. But as I've said, this is why we have this topic, so that we see which products we can use to help us have a healthy, effective respiratory system. And where an illness is concerned, also to see, maybe to consult a doctor and use our supplements to get rid of illnesses that affect our respiratory system. Then breathing through the mouth is associated with bad breath because, of course, all kinds of bacteria are going, and other microbes are going to get in and proliferate in our mouth. Another problem that comes from breathing through the mouth will be, that is, of course, apart from poor breathing, we also will have dry mouth and lips, so the lips might crack and the mouth might feel uncomfortable and dry because the production of saliva when our mouths are open might be reduced, or the saliva might dry out because our mouths are open and the saliva evaporates out of them. This is especially so if we are asleep. Breathing through the mouth also is responsible for a lot of snoring and poor quality sleep, and it can lead to dental problems and also something called sleep apnea. So sleep apnea is something that happens when we are sleeping and our breathing stops during sleep and then starts again. So we have brief moment in which we are not breathing. Of course, this is very dangerous, but also it is going to give us very poor quality sleep. Remember, it is important for us to get not only the minimum of 7 hours of sleep, but also that we should be able to drop into deep sleep. This is not possible if our breathing keeps on stopping, because then we get startled and we wake up and then we have to start sleeping again. So again, that is just to emphasize the importance of breathing through our noses and doing what we need to get out of the habit of breathing through our mouths. Then things that can reduce the effectiveness of our respiratory system will be inflammation of our air passages, as I've mentioned, usually due to illness or allergic reaction. And things like cigarette smoking or being exposed to secondhand smoking from sharing spaces with a cigarette smoker. And then also obesity or overweight can lead to poor body posture and shallowness of breathing, because, for example, if you have an enlarged abdomen, it is going to squish up the thoracic cavity and means that our lungs are not able to open to full capacity when we are breathing. Then, of course, if we are in very high altitude, let's say we are mountain climbers, we should be aware that that can also affect the effectiveness of our breathing, and we prepare adequately if we are going to maybe do some mountain climbing or hiking and so on. So what are the lifestyle points that we can recommend for a healthy respiratory system? The first is to have a healthy diet that is rich in vegetables, some herbs and fruits and so on. This will provide us with some of the phytonutrients that play an important role in the health of our respiratory system. We also recommend that where possible, avoid environmental pollutants and toxins. So habits like smoking should be got rid of. And then also, as far as we are able, to participate in detoxing our environment, whether outside our homes or within our homes. And then the hygienic points such as cleaning and airing our beddings regularly will help to reduce some of the I don't know if you're aware of things called dust mites. They are small insects that live in mattresses and blankets and so on. So they can contribute to allergies by some of the byproducts that they produce. So by cleaning and airing our beddings regularly, we can minimize issues like that. Then also you can vacuum clean the mattress from time to time, just so as we have got good hygiene around our house. Good ventilation, I already mentioned that, and helping children to learn to breathe habitually through their noses. And also, I think I mentioned aerobic exercises that help our respiratory system. Then on the side of our Neolife supplements, we will recommend supplements that optimize a healthy respiratory system and also helps us to cope with illnesses that affect our respiration. And the first one I want to recommend there is omega-3 salmon oil, which helps in fighting inflammation. This also we can use in hand with omega-3. We can use garlic allium complex. Both of these help in our body to resolve inflammation, which can affect our air passages, causing swelling and irritation. And of course, when our air passages are swollen or irritated, we can have things like sneezing and itching and irritations of these air passages, and even blockage, so that we find that we are not able to breathe well. Then, in addition to omega-3 and garlic allium, we recommend vitamin D, either in its vitamin D, vegan D form, or vitamin A plus D, which also are very important because they help us to recover from respiratory issues. It could be colds and flus and other chronic respiratory illnesses. We do better when we either get sun exposure or we supplement with vitamin D or vitamin A plus D. So if you are in a part of the world where you can get good sun exposure, definitely take advantage whenever you can. But if this is not the case, then you can also supplement with vitamin D. Sometimes it might be that during certain seasons, like in winter, if you're in a temperate area where winter comes along, then you may supplement during that time, and then in the warmer months to take advantage of sun exposure. All of this will ensure that we have the advantage of vitamin D or A plus D, which helps us to have a healthy respiratory system, or a resilient one, which can recover quickly from flus and colds. Because what we tend to notice is that sometimes you can keep on having these infections and you seem not to be able to get rid of them. This could be because you need to supplement, especially at the beginning of the cold season, when respiratory viruses tend to be more common. So take advantage of our supplements and just preempt the beginning of the flu season, as we call it, and start preparing yourself by giving your body what it needs so that it can be resilient. If there are respiratory infections going around, then you'll be able either to not get them or to be able to recover quickly from them, or to get a milder form of the infection. We also recommend, apart from those three, we recommend vitamin C, which is very important for respiratory health, and that is why some of the foodstuffs we recommend in the lifestyle section are rich in vitamin C. So apart from vitamin C, I also like to include their flavonoid complex. Flavonoids also play an important role in our respiratory health. And remember that our flavonoid complex contains some vitamin C in it as well. So you can choose whether you want to use vitamin C, which we have in two forms. You have the chewable form that is also easy for children to suck or to chew. And we also have the sustained release one. Then flavonoid complex is, of course, in the form of a tablet, which will give us some vitamin C together with the phytonutrients called flavonoids, which play an important role in maintaining healthy air passages and repairing damaged respiratory tissues if we have had an allergic reaction or we've had a respiratory infection. Sorry, the system kicked me out. So just to go on, for small children, we'll recommend that you can use VitaGuard and Chewable C. And for infants, we can use Liquivite. So all this, as I said, one of the things that I found useful when we had a growing family was just to start the cold season in Southern Africa starts from around May, June. So from around April, we would already start using some things like vitamin C or flavonoids, as well as herbal respiratory and so on, so as to prepare for the onslaught of the respiratory problems that we associate with the cold season, and especially because young children will tend to pick up from their playmates or from school some of these infections quite frequently. So the best thing to do here is to give them supplements so that their immune system is well boosted and able to cope with exposure to such infections. So I see I have a minute or two left, in which case I wanted to mention two questions that I have here. The first one is asthma in a child, what can we recommend? So we recommend, of course, on the lifestyle points, try to identify the triggers for the asthmatic attacks, and where possible, avoid them. Of course, it is not always possible because, for instance, if it is during the place or time when there is a lot of pollen or other such exposures that can be triggering the asthma, then we may or may not be able to get rid of them, but where possible to minimize or eliminate. Then we recommend VitaGuard. We also recommend omega-3 salmon oil. Since it is a small child, we would say use the omega-3 minis if the child is able to swallow. If they're not able to swallow, I would say that they can chew it. For adults, it's often quite awful, but sometimes children get used to chewing it and don't seem to mind. Otherwise, if they don't like it, you can prick a hole into the omega-3 and squeeze it into their food so that it is combined in there. Then we also recommend for older children who are able to take herbal respiratory complex. If it is a child under 12, we would say to use half of the recommended dose. Then another question was about recurrent pneumonia. Of course, when we get pneumonia involves an infection. So the first recommendation was to consult a doctor so that you get medication, for example, antibiotics, which will deal with the infection. Also to find out why it is recurrent. It could be as a result of reinfection or repeated exposure, or it could be that the person's immune system is weakened. So try to get to investigate a bit why it is that the pneumonia is recurrent. Then recommend from Neolife, we recommend vitamin C or flavonoid complex. I think in this case, especially if the immune system is not so strong, flavonoids will be quite important. And then we'll recommend also omega-3 salmon oil, chelated zinc, and vitamin A plus D. So those would be the recommendations. But remember, my first recommendation is at least in the initial infection to see a doctor in order to get medication to deal with the infection. And then after that, the supplements can help in recovery and giving the respiratory system the health that it requires to be resilient against an exposure to infections. Okay, so I see that my time has run out. I want to thank you very much for your time. And as we are still in the beginnings of the month of October, I will encourage you to make your goals and have a good plan to work towards them. Sometimes I think as distributors, we would benefit from thinking about our business because each business is actually unique. Think about your own business and how you can be innovative in coming up with ideas of how to do it, because each of us, we are unique and our situations are unique. So spend some time now and from time to time and think about ways in which you can be innovative in doing your business. And with that, I want to hand you over to Pascal, but also to wish you all the best and to thank you for your time. Okay, here he is. Good evening.
Thank you very much, Betty. I think it's very important for us to breathe properly. Even in our business, we need to do things that help our business to breathe and grow. One of the things that I think I have had a lot of inquiries in our business is how to do international sponsoring. Neolife operates in 50 different markets around the world. And because of that, it's important for us to know if we've got prospects in countries where if you have prospects in countries where we don't live, it's important for us to know how to help them grow their business in those countries. So I'd like to make a few things. Make a few comments about international sponsoring. First, sponsoring is standard throughout the world. Sponsoring simply means that you meet a prospect or you have a prospect on your list, you get in touch with them, you invite them to have a look at the business, they look at the business, then you follow up to help them make a decision by giving them enough information to educate them. Remember, our goal is not to be salespeople. Our goal is to educate our prospects so that they can see the value that the business or the product will have in their lives. So the sponsoring process is the same throughout the world. Follow the basics of the business. Write a name list. Invite the people to look at the business. Show them the business presentation. Follow up to help them make a decision. Now, let me discuss how you can help somebody who is not in your country but is resident in a country where Neolife has presence. Where Neolife is registered in the country. Very important thing to know is this. What is our business? Our business is moving products from Neolife to different consumers. So a very important thing is, if you have a prospect in any country that Neolife is doing business, how the prospect can get products. So it's important for you to know the address of the distributor service center, the WhatsApp number for product ordering or sending information, the email address, the telephone number, to know information of the location of where the company has products. For example, in South Africa, we have 3 major hubs, one in Johannesburg, one in Durban, and another one in Cape Town. So you need to know where this information is as a distributor. The next thing you need to have is the price list of the country where you want to sponsor somebody. Why is this important? Because the person you sponsor in the country where Neolife is, they need to know the price of the products where they're doing business. You need to know the price list, the delivery process. If the prospects joins, how can they get hold of the products from the Neolife offices? You need to know the electronic way of ordering products, the kit options, the price list. All those small details are very important for you to know as a sponsor of the person you want to sponsor. One of the things I'm really excited about is Neolife has managed to really get fantastic information for all distributors wherever you are doing business. So if you give me 1 minute, I want to, let me just stop sharing for a moment. I'd like to get to the back office to show you how you can get information about Neolife. If you give me 1 moment, I want to log into our back office. Just 1 moment, please. And the reason why I'm logging onto the back office so that I can show you how easy it is to get different information about what our business is. Okay. Just one moment, please, as the thing loads. Okay, so let me share the back office with you so that I can show you how to get information. All right. If you go to the back office, this is, once you've logged in, you will see this menu. If you want information about the price list, if you want information about the kit options, go to resources, click on resources library. Once you've clicked on the resources library, go to the country where you want to get information. For example, if I have a prospect in Kenya, or let me say I've got a prospect in Nigeria, I choose, go down to the drop menu, you will then click on Nigeria and then select the language that you want. In Nigeria, it's English and French. Let me say you click on English and then you search the document that you want. For example, I want the kit options for Nigeria. You type the kit options and then you search. You click on the circle will search and give you the distributor kit options for Nigeria effective 22nd February 2024. And then you click there and it opens this document. Okay, this is the kit options for Nigeria. You can do that on your phone, you can do that on your laptop, whatever it is, as long as you can get information from there. Okay, then let me say you want to get a different type of information. You want to get a distributor, the confidential distributor price list. Then you type confidential distributor price list. And then you search. You click on the circle, the system will search for you and it will, there it is. And if you click on that, you will see the distributor confidential price list for Nigeria so that you know the prices of the products from if you want to sponsor somebody in Nigeria. And this has got a lot of information. On page 2, you will see the delivery policy. All orders placed with 100 PV will be subject to 5% of the BV or a minimum charge of 2,000 Naira. Okay, so less than 100 PV, if it's more than 100, then the company will not subject you to any further charges. And then at the bottom there, you have the bank details of the company. The reason why this is very important is if you are going to sponsor somebody in a market where you're not, you need to give your prospect all this information. So let me go back to the notes where we have been sharing. All right, so you get the bank details from the, let me just, current slide. Yeah, you get the bank details from the price list, the payment of bonus payment and product availability. You need to know that if you're sponsoring somebody in a different market you're not, you need to tell your new distributor as soon as they register, they need to send their bank details to the company so that when they start earning a bonus or commission, the company can pay the money either into their account or into their mobile account if in the country where they do business, there's mobile money. In Kenya, Uganda, Tanzania, I think there's mobile money. Nigeria, the same. Lesotho, the same. I think there's M-Pesa in Lesotho. There's M-Pesa in Mozambique. So all these countries have enabled business to run very smoothly because of mobile money. So that is about sponsoring. And then a very important thing, training and support. If you sponsor somebody in a market where you're not, you need to be ready either yourself or your upline leader to help you support a new distributor in the market where you're not, and Neolife is registered. Very important. A new person, let me say I sponsor somebody in Nigeria, I need to keep in touch with them 2 to 3 times every week to help them grow their business. First, find an electronic copy of how to do a kit opening. Speak to your upline leader. There is a guideline on how to open the kit if you're doing it by Zoom. It's very simple, very straightforward. 3 aspects. One, the administrative aspects of the business. That is, what is PV, what is BV, how do you order products, what is a director, a manager, senior manager, executive. Those small details about the terms we use in the business. And then arrange for training and support for your new distributor. Training and support is very crucial because this is what helps a new distributor to grow. 2 weekly contacts so that you guide. Remember, one of the things that new people face is discouragement from their friends and relatives. And therefore, you need to be there to help shield your new distributor from those discouragements. All right? So that's about international sponsoring in a market where Neolife is registered, but you are not there as a sponsor physically. Let's go to a bit more challenging aspect. If you have a prospect in a country where Neolife is registered, it's very important for you to know that Neolife will not give any support where they're not registered as a business. Why is it? Because it can bring a lot of legal complications. I'll give you 2 examples. For example, if you have a prospect who is in Rwanda, you have a prospect who is in Malawi, Zambia, Zimbabwe, you have a prospect who is in Gabon, a country where Neolife is not registered. Neolife will not take responsibility for the business in those countries. So what does that mean? The first thing you need to do is you need to find out how the prospect or distributor, if they join, how they will get their products. That means you need to think about cross-border delivery. You think about customs duties. What are the customs charges for products of a similar nature? What are the legal issues because now you're actually importing Neolife products into a market where the company is not registered. So I have found that if you're going to a country where Neolife is not, I've said it's a very good habit to know somebody at the customs and sponsor that person in the business. They will help you how to get the products through to the new market. All right. So you need to find out how to get products across the border or how to deliver the products. Then you need to decide where you're going to register the distributor. You have to register the distributor in a country where Neolife is registered. For example, I have seen that we've got some distributors in Malawi, but they have registered in South Africa. If then the northern part of Malawi, maybe they register in Tanzania. If you've got people in Zambia, the northern part of Zambia, I see some people register in Tanzania. If they're in the southern part of Zambia or Lusaka, they register in South Africa. So you need to find out where to register the distributor in a market where Neolife is registered. The next thing you need to think about is money transfer to Neolife bank account. For example, if you've got a distributor in Malawi or Zambia, Lusaka, and they want to buy products, they have to go to their bank, apply for foreign forex in Rand, and transfer the money to Neolife's bank account in Rand. So you need to think about foreign exchange issues. Then they can order the kit or the products. The money has to be deposited in Neolife, Neolife, where they are registered. As the business grows, Neolife will not send money to a country where they are not registered. So you, as the sponsor or the director, you need to keep track of the bonuses that people in your team receive. I remember when we were opening, when the company was not registered in Nigeria, we used to keep our distributors in Nigeria used to buy products from Ghana because Ghana was open at that time. So they would send somebody to Ghana to buy products for the whole team, then they bring them across. When the bonuses are issued, they're issued in different distributors' names, but we had a record. So what we would do is instead of paying the bonuses to the distributors, the bonuses would be kept and they would be used to buy products for the next month, so that the distributors, when they collect money from their customers, they don't send it to the company. They use the previous month's bonuses to buy products for their next, something like that. So you as a distributor, you need to know how their distributors in your country will be paid their bonuses, how you're going to keep the records, and then you need to find out about training, about support, about recognition, all these issues where you need to support your new distributor who is not in a market, who is in a market that is not Neolife is registered. Is a bit more challenging than in a country where Neolife is registered. So if you're sponsoring somebody in a country where Neolife is not registered, you need to think about all these issues. How to get products across the border, what are the customs duties, what are the legal issues, do you need an import permit, where will the distributor be registered, and they have to be registered in a country where Neolife is registered officially. Money transfer to Neolife bank account. Once they start receiving bonuses, how the bonuses will be sent to new distributors. You as a leader, you need to keep records of who is having how much as a bonus. You need to be able also do training and support. And as the business begins to grow and grow bigger, you as a leader take time to go and visit your team. So those are a few ideas on how to manage international sponsoring. You need to take responsibility for your group. If it's a place where the Neolife is registered, maybe somebody in that country will help you. But you as a sponsor, you need to learn how to follow up with your prospects. If they get registered, you can link them up to somebody who will help them. But eventually, you as a sponsor, you need to keep in touch with your new distributor so that you can help them grow the business. The next thing I wanted to share with you that I think most people, including myself, who've struggled with for a long time in the business, that's how to discipline your disappointment. It's very important for you to how to handle disappointments in this business, because if you're in the business for at least a month, I'm absolutely certain that you have had some level of disappointment. Why? Because it's the nature of our business. Not everybody will join your business. Not everybody will be excited about the products. Not everybody will be excited about the business itself. So, what are some of the things you're going to face? One of the first things you're going to face are the no-shows. The no-shows is when you make an appointment with the prospects to meet them at a restaurant, or they come for a meeting, or they say they'll join a Zoom meeting and they don't show up. That is called a no-show. It happens. It's part of the business. In fact, remember, our business is a sifting process. You sift the right kind of people, or you go through a process of selection so that you know the right people to join the business. So when somebody doesn't show up, it's part of the business. Don't stress about it. Maybe it's not the right time for them. Maybe they've had other challenges. They can't come to the meeting. In fact, the teaching that really brought it clearly for me is when Jim Rohn explained the parable of the sower. If you're a distributor, please look for Jim Rohn's audio called How to Build a Network Marketing Business. He explains the 4 types of responses you get from people. The people you invite for the business and they don't show up. That is like somebody who sows a seed and the birds comes and eat them up. Somebody discourages them, or their spouse tells them that thing is not worth it. They've got a negative, whatever it is, you will have a no-show, right? Or somebody who comes for the meeting, they're very excited, they join the business. The first person who tells them no, they quit. That is going to happen. You will find the people who join the business, they pay for the kit, then life gets too busy for them. They have too many things seeking their attention, and it distracts them from the business. That is going to happen. All right. The second type of no you're going to get is called a me show business. A me show is when you invite people for your team to come and see the business, but not even your team members show up for the meeting. That has happened to us and me and Betty. That has happened to many leaders in the business, when even the people in your team who said they're going to bring a lot of guests don't show up. All right? Don't worry if it happens to you. It's part of the business. Negative talk with yourself, negative talk from friends, social media, relatives. These things are going to happen. So if it happens to you, it's part of the business. In fact, when you know it's going to happen, by the way, even if when you know when it's going to happen, it's still. I remember a distributor we sponsored some time ago, and I gave him a book to read. And in the book, he read that a lot of people are going to ask this question: is this a pyramid scheme? Even when he had that knowledge theoretically, when it happens to him, it knocked him out for 2 weeks. So knowing it is good preparation, but dealing with it emotionally is something else. So don't worry if it happens to you. It's going to happen. And then our plan is not available. It's very easy for us to blame our sponsor if things are not going well. Your upline may be busy, or your upline may not be serious. I mean, when Betty and I started, our sponsor was, I think, 2 or 3 weeks old in the business. They didn't know much. In fact, she knew as much as we knew. So we went up the line until we got somebody who would guide us. So if an upline is not available, go to the next leader to help you. Okay? Then when you have customers who complain about the price, the service, the change, all those things, you will get customers who complain. The most important thing is this: don't argue with your customer. If they say the prices are too high, I said, well, the prices are they are well-priced products because they've got high quality. Okay? I think your life is much more valuable than the price of the products that you're going to buy. So when customers complain, it's better to have a customer who complains and you know what to do than a customer who doesn't complain but goes away without telling you anything. Okay? So those are some of the challenges you're going to get. If it happens to you, learn how to deal with it. A very important thing is learn to detach yourself from what prospects or negative people say. Is it an easy thing? No, it is not easy, because we are emotional beings. But with time, you're going to learn how to detach yourself from the emotional outcome. What are some of the things that will help you to manage these disappointments is pay attention to your goals and dreams. That's why I always recommend read your goals every day, look at your dream chart, look at the things, look at the reasons why you joined the business. Number 2, engage in income-producing activities. Pay attention to your daily method of operation. What are the things you need to do every day to grow your business? Talking to people. Number 3, read good books daily, 15 minutes before you go to bed. Why is it important to read 15 minutes before you go to bed? Because when you're preparing to sleep, your mind slows down, goes into the alpha mode, and that's when your mind absorbs things very well. So if you do positive things that before you sleep, you'll wake up a positive person the next day. Keep friends who encourage you to go after your goals. That is why, show me your friends, I will show you your future. So keep good friends. Exercise daily. If you exercise daily, you will find that your positive nature, the positivity is going to have, because when you exercise, hormones are released into your bloodstream that helps you to have a positive attribute. Your level of oxytocin will go up. If you're a man, testosterone will also go up. You will find that it gives you a lift. so that you can manage. So daily exercise is very, very important for you to manage disappointment and to have a disciplined life. So if you pay attention to those little things, you're going to handle your disappointments much better. But also you begin to develop a thick skin, because this business, you have to develop a thick skin. You will have many people who disappoint you. You will have a lot of people who say this thing doesn't work. They met somebody who did this, whatever it is. So I will encourage you to pay attention to these small things. You will get no shows. None of your prospects show up. You'll get me shows. Even some of your success lines don't show up. Negative thinking people, your outline is not available, customers, all these things will happen. Just pay attention to your dreams and goals. Engage in income producing activities. Read good and positive books. Keep friends who encourage you to go after your goals, and exercise daily. If you do these few things, I think you are going to learn how to handle your challenges and to handle disappointments that helps you to grow in the business. So, ladies and gentlemen, I want to thank all of you very much for having spent this evening with Betty and myself. I hope the little we have shared will help you to handle some of the challenges that you're going to meet in this business. Good night and God bless.